Welcome to Unit 7. This unit is all about the past and remembering. I remember when I got my first bicycle. It was blue and I loved it. My dad taught me how to ride it and I was a good student. This unit focuses on past events in history and your own past memories. What can you remember from your childhood?
I remember when I went to my grandparents' house in Sama.
I can remember the first time I had an ice cream.
I remember going on a holiday with my family to Norway.
Who discovered the structure of DNA? And which Hollywood film star is behind the invention of Wi-Fi and mobile phones? Read the text Forgotten Female Firsts and find out. Vocabulary and listening looks at adverbs. For example, slowly, quietly, well. Adverbs are very useful when you are telling stories. I slept badly last night, so I woke up late this morning. I cycled to work very quickly. Luckily, I didn't fall on the icy roads. What do you say when it's somebody's birthday? How about when people get married? In everyday English, you'll learn some expressions in English for special occasions. Missed a class? You can go online to look at the material again and do the online activities. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Seven point 1 20th Century Quiz 1.
B. Henry Ford sold the first Model T motor car in 1908. It cost $825 and came in grey, green, blue and red, but not black.
2.
B. The Russian Revolution was in 1917. It started in St. Petersburg.
3.
C. About 50 million people died of flu between 1918 and 1919. It was more than died in the First World War.
4.
C. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928. He discovered it by accident.
5.
A. Superman first appeared in a comic collection in 1938, but the first Superman-only comic appeared in 1939.
6.
B. John Atanasoff invented the very first digital computer in the 1930s, but the first programmable computers began to appear about 65 years ago.
7.
C. The first colour TV cost $1,295 in 1955. In the 1970s, they cost around $350. This was still very expensive at the time.
8.
A. Neil Armstrong landed on the moon on the 20th of July 1969. The second man to walk there was Buzz Aldrin.
9,
C. The Berlin Wall came down on November the 9th, 1989. It was the beginning of the end for Communist Europe and the Soviet Union.
10,
A. Universities developed systems of communication between computers in the 1970s and 80s, but the general public first began to use the Internet about 25 years ago.
$7.2 The Good Old Days.
Grandad, when you were a boy, did you have television?
Of course we had television, but it wasn't colour TV like now. It was black and white. The screens weren't very big, like they are now, and there weren't many channels.
How many channels were there then?
Only 2. But that was enough. We loved it. But there were no programmes in the morning.
What? So, what time did programmes begin?
They didn't start till after 4 o'clock, when I got home from school. That's when the children's programmes were on. There were some brilliant programmes for children. I was always sad when they stopped at 6 o'clock and the grown-up programmes started. That's when I did my homework.
Did your mum and dad give you pocket money?
Yes, but I worked for it. I did the washing up every day. We didn't have dishwashers in those days.
No dishwashers? Oh, that sounds awful. So, how much pocket money did you get?
I didn't get much. I got 6pence a week. That's only about 3p these days. But, oh, it seemed like a lot. I bought comics and sweets with it.
What sort of comics did you buy?
I bought a comic called The Eagle. That was full of adventure stories. And Superman.
What? They had Superman comics then?
Oh, yes. And they were very exciting to me. They had adverts in them from this strange, amazing country called America. I really wanted to go there.
So, did you?
No. People didn't go abroad for their holidays then. It was too expensive. I didn't go on a plane till I was a lot older.
So, where did you go on holiday?
To the seaside in England.
How did you get there?
My dad drove. We had a Ford car. A Ford Prefect it was. We went to the same place every year.
Why did you always go to the same place?
Because we all liked it there.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't alive then. It all sounds really boring.
Ah, but that's where you're wrong. We didn't have so many things to choose from in those days, and everything we did seemed really exciting.
$7.3 Billy's Questions. 1,
Did you have television?
2,
How many TV channels were there?
3,
So, what time did programmes begin?
4,
How much pocket money did you get?
5,
What sort of comics did you buy?
6,
So, where did you go on holiday?
7,
How did you get there?
8,
Why did you always go to the same place?
$7.4 Questions and Answers. 1,
Where did you go?
To the shops.
2,
When did you go?
Yesterday.
3,
Who did you go with?
A friend from work.
4,
How did you get there?
By bus.
5,
Why did you go?
Because I wanted some new clothes.
6,
What did you buy?
Some shirts and jumpers.
7,
How many did you buy?
3 shirts and 2 jumpers.
8,
How much did you pay?
£150.
7.5. Listening and pronunciation. 1,
Where did you want to go?
2,
I didn't go to college.
3,
Where was he?
4,
Do you like it?
5,
Why did she come?
6,
They weren't here.
7.6. At a party.
You aren't English, are you, Nicole? Where are you from?
No, I'm French. I was born in Toulouse.
Oh, is that where you grew up?
Yes. I lived with my parents and my brother in a house near the university there. My father worked at the university.
Oh, how interesting. What did he do? Was he a teacher?
Yes, he was a professor of music.
Really? What does he play?
He's a brilliant pianist.
How wonderful. And what about your mother? What's her job?
She's retired now, but she was a doctor. She worked in the hospital.
Oh, so did you go to school in Toulouse?
Yes, I went to a Catholic high school. I was there for 10 years. Then I went to university.
What did you study?
I studied English and education in Paris. And then I studied for 1 year in London.
Ah, that's why your English is so good. And did you start work straight after that?
No, I traveled around Africa for a few months. Then I taught in a school in Senegal.
That sounds great. And what's your job now?
I teach in a high school in Paris. I teach English and French.
I'm sure you're a brilliant teacher.
Anyway, what about you?
.7. Noises in the night.
It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. Suddenly, I woke up. I heard noises downstairs. I got out of bed silently and went slowly downstairs. There was a light on in the living room. I listened carefully. I could hear 2 men talking very quietly. They said something about the police. Burglars, I thought. Immediately, I ran back upstairs and phoned the police. Obviously, I was very frightened. Fortunately, the police came quickly. They opened the front door and went into the living room. Then they came upstairs to see me. "It's all right now, sir," they explained calmly. "We turned off the television for you."
.8. Special occasions. 1,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joseph. Happy birthday to you. Way!
2.
Did you get any cards?
Yes, I did. Listen to this. Roses are red, violets are blue, you are my Valentine, and I love you.
Wow! Do you know who it's from?
I'm not sure. I know who I want it to be from.
3.
Mummy! Daddy! Wake up! It's Christmas!
What time is it? 6 o'clock.
Yes, it's morning. Look at the present Father Christmas left for me.
Oh, that's lovely. Merry Christmas, darling.
4.
Trick
or treat!
Wow, what fantastic Halloween costumes. You two look very scary.
Have you got any sweets to give us?
Of course I have. Here you are, 2 chocolates each.
5.
I'm with you, this champagne's so good.
It's midnight! Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year!
Should old acquaintance be?
6.
Wake up, Mummy! Happy Mother's Day!
Thank you, darling. Oh, what beautiful flowers. And chocolates. And a cup of tea. Well, aren't I lucky?
And we made you a card.
Oh, that's wonderful. Aren't you clever children?
7.
Congratulations! It's great news.
Thank you. We're both very happy.
Oh, so when's the wedding day?
May the 5th. You'll get an invitation.
We got married in a church in Oxford. There were about 100 people there, and the ceremony took about an hour.
I wore a long white wedding dress. My bridesmaids wore navy blue dresses, and Stuart wore a black suit. After the ceremony, we went to a restaurant where we had a party with about 80 people. The party finished at about 5 o'clock, and we left and went straight on our honeymoon. We went on honeymoon to Edinburgh.
I met my husband in 2006. We both worked in the same hospital, but we met in a restaurant. When I got married, there were 5 different ceremonies over 5 days in 2 different cities, Manchester and London, and there were about 300 people at the wedding. I had 3 wedding cakes, and we ate about 6 large meals. The first event was the registry wedding, where I wore a white dress and a tiara. And then after that, it was the Mehndi ceremony, which is where the bride has henna applied to her hands and feet. The third event was the biggest, and that was the wedding ceremony, the wedding party itself. I wore a traditional Indian dress called a lehenga, which is an embroidered top and an embroidered skirt with a very, very heavy scarf. I also wore heavy gold jewelry, 10 bangles, and big earrings and a big necklace. My husband wore a traditional long top and trousers underneath, embroidered with gold, and he also wore a hat called a turban, which was very heavy. We then went to Manchester for the 4th ceremony. Again, we ate a lot of food, we had another cake, and we enjoyed ourselves a lot. The final event, the fifth ceremony, was a small dinner with my husband's family and my family, and that was just as well because we were very, very tired by then.
I don't celebrate my birthday much anymore. I might go out for dinner with some friends or my family, but I remember when I was a child, my parties were really, really exciting, and I always looked forward to them. I remember my 7th birthday party was one of the best. It was an important birthday for me because it was the first birthday I had in Scotland, because we moved from Canada to Scotland the year before. My birthday's in June, and I remember that it wasn't raining, and it always rained in Scotland. I invited 4 friends from school, and I remember we all wore our favourite dresses. We ate snacks like sandwiches and sausage rolls, and my mum made a chocolate cake, and I remember I blew out the candles. Afterwards, there were lots of activities. We played games and danced a lot. I remember having a really good time.
Recently it was my 40th birthday, and I celebrated it with all my friends, which was brilliant. I decided to have a 1970s party, so lots of my friends dressed up in 1970s clothes. I wore a dress that was from 1970. I bought it in a retro market in Rome, and it was long and orange, and it had orange chiffon sleeves. We ate 1970s food. I played 1970s music, lots of disco and soul and that kind of thing. I had a cake. My sister arranged for somebody to make a cake, and it was a 1970s cake with big platform shoes on top and Happy Birthday Carolyn. I think the party went really well. Lots of people dressed up, lots of people danced. I think everyone had a good time. The party wasn't on the actual day of my birthday, it was a couple of days before. On my birthday I was in Italy, and I decided to bounce across the Ponte Vecchio in Florence on my 1970s space hopper to celebrate.